Righto, I did forget to start filming this before I started, but I thought maybe I'll just show you what's going on at the moment. So I've got some alloy rims here, which are going to be my four-wheel drive rims. So there's one over there, and I'm working on another one up there. Two of them, it's a bit hard to see on the video here, but two of them like this one here aren't too bad. But two of them, like this one here, not sure how well this will come out, but you can see that the clear coat on top of the rim, on top of the alloy, looks pretty bad in some places. Now originally I didn't really care, I was just going to throw some off-road tyres on. I didn't want to spend a lot of money on some tyres, on wheels, some rims that I was going to thrash around. So I just bought some cheap ones and I was just going to throw some all-terrains on and off I go. But as time wore on, decided that maybe they should be painted to match the car. So you can see this one over here. I've already done all the sanding on that. That one was quite bad. That was probably the worst one. So that took quite a bit of work to get all the rough bits off. Currently working on this one here. Just started on it. This one's pretty good, so it's not taking very much. I'll be done with the top in no time and flip round to the inside and give that a quick sand. But it is freezing cold here in Masterton, so I'm not super keen on doing this all night long, so I'll probably finish that one there and maybe get stuck into that difficult one tomorrow night. But hopefully within a couple of weeks we'll get them all sanded, get them all primed, get them all looking nice, and then painted. So the paint scheme, well, there's still some debate on the paint scheme. The thought was perhaps paint them all black, or perhaps paint them all orange to go with the colour scheme I've got on the car. But the black one black looks like it would disappear into the background a bit, and the orange ones really stand out, so I was pretty keen on doing orange. I was just going to do plasti dip, so if I didn't like it I can peel it off and paint it a different colour. But the more I looked into that, the more I decided that paint is the better way to go. Actually, originally I was going to get them powder coated, but the amount of prep work was going to cost too much, so I had to do it myself, which is what I'm doing now. If I'm doing it myself, actually painting it's really easy, so I'll just paint it. Right, another quick update. So last time I spoke, I was in the process of sanding these things down. However, that task proved arduous. I never want to have to try and do that again. So instead, I sort of got about a few hours into it and I realised that I was never going to be able to, in a reasonable amount of time anyhow, get these things sanded down. So instead, I've taken them to the sandblaster and he's done it for me. And he didn't charge me heaps of money, so I'm pretty happy about that, and it's a pretty spectacular result. So all that clear coat's all gone. Surface is now prepped for painting. This one here, I've just gone over it with a bit of 220 grit sandpaper, or 240 grit sandpaper it was, just to smooth that out slightly, because it is quite rough. Well, quite rough. It's got a noticeable texture to it, and the man at the paint shop said give that a quick sand just to smooth it down a little bit, and then we can go on with these things over here. So if we come over here, went to the paint shop, and the man there recommended the stuff here. So this is it says down the bottom there, an etching primer. So he said with aluminium or alloy, use an etching primer first, and that'll enable the paint to adhere, and then followed it up with this surface primer, which is a sandable primer. So we're going to do that, and then I'm going to go down and get the final colour from him in a couple of days. But he did say to let that primer sort of dry pretty well before putting a top coat on. So that's what I'll be doing tonight. I've just given that one a quick sand, so that's nice and smooth to the touch. And quick sand through these, and then we'll be on with the surface primer. So here in Masterton, I went to Prime Blast in Masterton. A fellow called George, very helpful. Charged what I thought was a pretty reasonable price for his services, And then paints here I've picked up from a place called Auto Paint in Masterton again. Nice chap to talk to, very helpful, and hopefully we can get some orange on these wheels before too long, and then the all-terrains, and then we'll be looking for some mud. Alright, thank you. Alrighty, here's my setup. Not sure if this is the best way to do it or not, but sort of want to be able to get to both sides of the rims without putting my greasy mitts on it after I've painted it. So I've got a jack stand here, another one down the end with a steel pipe running between them, and then spray the first one, slide it down, spray the next one, slide it down, and so on and so forth. That is the plan. See how it goes. Right, just a quick update. So they've had the etch primer on and 2 coats of the primer, the filler primer, and I've just given it a quick sand with a bit of wet and dry 320. So I'm just going to give it a minute to settle, then give it a good clean, and then on with another layer of primer. Okay, here we go. Finally finished painting the wheels. So they came out pretty well. Pretty pleased with the result. They do look a bit brighter and shinier on the video than they do here in my shed, but even so they still look pretty good. So we ended up putting 3 coats of paint on. I was only going to put 2 on originally, but I put 1 coat of paint on, and then the temperature for the next week or so got a bit cold, so rather than risking it, I just left it, gave it a light sand, and then we put 2 coats of paint on top. So we've got 3 altogether, and we've got the little Porsche centre caps. So the centre caps don't clip in the way they're supposed to do. We'll fix that shortly, but that's what they look like with the centre caps on. I'm sort of tempted to get some black wheel nuts as well. Don't know how well that'll go, but yeah, awesome. Got my tyres booked in for Friday this week, so we'll get those on the wheels and then on the car, and then we'll have the final video.